I'm Pastor Groove, and I am the world's best mediocre bass player. What set me on the path to becoming the world's best mediocre bass player? Well, I began playing guitar at 15 years old, but then was told that if I played bass it'd be easier to find gigs, so I switched over to bass. Even though I found out it wasn't quite that easy to get gigs. Even then, I knew there was a destiny before me. I really fell into the mediocre, haphazard style of bass guitar. See, this worked well with my partying lifestyle. I didn't need to spend time practicing, learning songs, and didn't spend a lot of money on gear. So I had more time and more money to smoke and drink. Some of my earliest influences that led me on this path to becoming the world's best mediocre bass player was Peter Tork of the Monkees, Tina Weymouth with the Talking Heads, and Peter Wentz, Fall Out Boys. And we can't forget the king of mediocre bass playing, Gene Simmons of Kiss. Then things really changed in my life when I heard a particular album. This album just transformed the way I saw bass guitar in music recording. Metallica's And Justice for All. In 1997, I turned my life around and I became a Christian, but I didn't play worship music until around 2008. Now this was a rocky start to me playing because the early 2000s, the worship music really didn't lend itself to my style of mediocre playing. And well, a good example would be Hillsong's Salvation Is Here. Does the guy want to be a guitar player or a bass player? Worship leaders would really get upset with me when I would just play diamonds during the bass break. It wasn't until fairly recently that my mediocre style of bass playing really fell in with contemporary Christian music. As a matter of fact, I'd say we're in the heyday of mediocre bass playing in worship music. A shining example of today's contemporary worship music, I would consider this bass line writing is genius. And that would be The Blessing. I mean, the first 2.5 minutes of that song, I would put that up with Bach and Beethoven. I want to take what I've learned over my years of mediocrity and share it with you. Who knows, maybe you could become the next world's best mediocre bass player.